Good afternoon. My name is SILVIA CALOCA, Irish name. And my research is on coastal vulnerability, is assessing the coastal vulnerability of the Dublin area to future impacts of climate change, such as sea level rise and storms. Well, sea level rose 17 centimeters over the last century, which is worse due to climate change, and which is worse, the rate of that increase has doubled over the last decade. So it's happening faster. Projections by the end of the century are giving between centimeters and meters. Some of them a few meters, even 5 meters, an increase above the 1990 levels. So models now are taking into account contributions from Greenland and some of them from Antarctica. Sea level rise in Dublin is going to be a problem because Dublin is highly exposed to sea level rise, as it is a low-lying area formed by soft and consolidated sediments. So here is going to be a problem, and coastal erosion is already happening, and losses in ecosystems are already happening. But 1 meter sea level rise in other areas of the world, like Bangladesh, for example, the coastal areas of Bangladesh, 1 meter sea level rise there is going to swallow 20%, between 15 and 20% of the coast where 20 million people live. So there's a big problem there. 1 meter sea level rise will cause 100 million people climate refugees, will endanger major cities in the world, such like Cairo, Shanghai, New York, has already caused the disappearing of 18 island nations, and other 40 are at risk. It's accelerating coastal erosion, also contamination in the groundwater resources by salt water, threatening agriculture and water resources, of course. So in total, sea level rise is threatening half of the world's population living within 200 kilometers of a coastline. So another factor which is helping sea level rise is storm surges. Cyclone activity will change in the future as a consequence of climate change in intensity and frequency, and storm surges will change as a consequence of that, because they are associated and caused by storms. So we need to address that as well. Which is a storm surge? A storm surge is an oscillation of the water level around the coast produced or caused by an atmospheric weather system approaching the coast, which is mainly water being piled up by the coast by the winds associated to the storm. So now imagine this is Dublin, and this is 2000, and we are back to 2002. This is what happened when a storm surge hit Dublin and coincided with a spring tide, which is the worst case scenario. So this picture could be also Honduras in 1988 when Mitch hurricane hit the country, or many other countries around the world. It's not all here. So what I'm doing my research is, first of all, I will create a high vulnerability map of the coastal areas to identify the vulnerable areas to sea level rise. And this is my area of study area by the coast of Dublin, and for that I will take in account several variables that influence the coastal evolution. They are changing through the time, and those variables I happen to be in this area are sediments, coastal features, geomorphology, coastal slope and topography onshore and offshore, coastal erosion rates, the change of the coastline through time, tidal regimes, wind frequency and direction, and also relative sea level changes in this particular area, and also wave height is not there. So I will combine all the values from all these variables and apply some indexes and formulas, and I will come up with something like that. It has been done in other areas in the world, but it hasn't been done in Ireland yet. And this map shows the range of vulnerability from high to low, from low to high, which is the susceptibility of the coast to experiment physical changes with sea level rise. And the second thing I need to look at, I will investigate how the storm surges are going to change in the future as some consequence of climate change. I will use some climate models. I will enhance the wind speed and direction as well, change the direction, and increase the sea levels as it happens to be in the future, and see what effect these variations have in the peak surge elevation in the future, and also calculate the probability of an event like this in Dublin 2002 to happen again in the future. So this will help. This hasn't been done in Ireland, but this will be done now, and this methodology can be exported to other countries and can help policymakers and stakeholders to target adaptation and mitigate the impacts of the risks as well. Thank you.